grade 5. This is Mr. B, and we're just going to have a quick review lesson today, just so that you guys can be ready for your test tomorrow. So just going to go over some time things, for your benefit here. So we're going to start off with a nice green here, and we're going to just see how long it would take to go from 9:45 a.m. to 12 noon. So yeah, which would be PM, right? This is noon. So what I would like you to do actually first is to go through the lesson plan and try and do these questions by yourself before I do it, because I think that would help you the most. Now what I want you to do when you see this, right, when it's not in AM and PM, when it's on the 24-hour clock, often it's a good idea to switch it into 24 hours. In our case here, it's not as big of a deal, but yeah, often it can be quite important. So we'll just do it just as a matter of habit to keep us sane here. So 9:45. Oh yeah, and again, please change this up if you do this before. You can pause the video as well and just pause it and then try this and then find the answer here. So because this one is 9 a.m., right, we just cross that out. We don't need to worry about that. It changes in 24-hour clock just by becoming 9. Sometimes there's a 0 there. And this one being noon, right after this one is 13 if you are in military time, or 1 p.m., right? So 12 noon is a special one, and it just stays 12. And so yeah, this is our time that we wanted to figure it out. The way we would go about figuring this out is by stacking these on top of each other, right? Like so. You could use a timeline, but this is the faster way to do it. I can show it on a timeline in a moment. So you see here we can't do the 5, and we can't do here, so we're gonna have to borrow here, and this will give us 11. Now when we go across these colons, right, this means you're changing units. Remember, listen carefully. When you cross these two dots, you are changing units. Over here, minutes, or no, over here, hours, over here, minutes. When you go over, when you bring 1 hour over, it's going to give you 60 minutes, right? So that's kind of what it brings over. Now a lot of times if there's a number here, we just have to write the 6 in the tens column, but yeah, it brings 6 over, not 1 over, right? So 60, right, so this is now 60 minus 45. We have to take one of these, right? We have to borrow 1 from here, from the 6. That makes that a 5. It makes this a 10 now. So we can check here. So 10 minus 5, and yeah, we cross that out. 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 minus 4 is 1, right? And so then we make sure we put our dots here, right in line there. And then 9, or 1 minus 11, or 1 minus 9, right, is not possible, but we can do 1 minus, or 9 minus, or 11 minus 9, which is going to be 2, right? So this is your answer. Oh, you don't need to cross it out. That is your answer there. And there you have it. So, and this would be 2 hours and 15 minutes, right? So that is how you get that. Now if you had another time, like maybe you started with a time that was 7, let's just say 35, well, this isn't the best place to start. We'll go on a new page here. 7:35 a.m. to, let's just say 5:42 p.m. right? This one here, you would want to convert this, right? You want to make sure that you're converting this into a 24-hour clock. So when we see AM, we just bring this down and we call it, say it's 7:35 because it hasn't gone through the reset yet. PM, we see that, and that sends off our alarms. Burr, 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 burr. This is going to need to add 12 hours to it, right? So you add 12 to that, and 5 plus 12 is 17. So you get 42, 1742, and now you can do it, right? So you put 1742 here, you put the 735 here, 5 minus 2, and you're subtracting to find out the difference between them. So that's how many hours will have passed by finding the difference. So this you can't do, so you make this a 3. This is now 12. So 12 minus 5 is going to be 7. 3 minus 3 is 0. 7 minus 7 is 0. You want to put the dots here, right? That kind of signals that this is minutes, this is hours. And then the 1, it comes down. So it's 10 hours and 7 minutes have passed since 7 a.m. to 5 o'clock in the evening, right? So that's how you can figure it out. So that's really important for us to be able to do. Let's go on from here. Next big thing that I want you guys to be able to do is to apply this kind of knowledge to see how much money you're making. So say I used to work for my dad and stuff. I got $5 for an hour's work if I was particularly in good favor that day. Normally I got $0, but some days I got $5 an hour. So this was a nice day. But let's see. So say I started working, it was a Saturday, and we started working at maybe we'll just say 9 a.m. on the dot, and we went till, I don't know, let's just say, how about 1:36 p.m. Okay, so that was the time that we worked. Now, I want to see how much money did I make. How many dollars? Yeah, how many dollars did I make this day? So this will the way we'll do this is 2 steps. So here we have 1:36 p.m. and 9 a.m. What we want to do again is turn this into 24-hour clock. So it's just 900, and then it'll be, right, this is p.m. The alarm bells go off. We know we have to add 12. That's going to be 13:36. So what I want to do here is figure out how many hours I worked that day. So we do what we know we have to do. So this is a rather simpler one. Maybe we should change it up a little bit just to give it a bit more spice. We'll do 45 so that we get some action here. So 45. This will give us a 1. Here it doesn't work because 6 minus 5 is 1. 3 minus 4, we can't do that, so we have to borrow from here. That gives you 2. You're carrying it over. This gives you an extra 6 up here. You're adding 6 to this. So that's 9 now, right? 9 here minus 4. So that'll give you 9 minus 4 will give you 5, right? And then now we're doing 12 minus 9, which will be 3 hours and 51 minutes. So in this case, right, so this is how long I worked, 3 hours and 51 minutes. But I'm only paid $5 the hour. So my dad's going to be generous, and he's going to allow us to round to the nearest hour to figure out how many. So what's the nearest hour here? Well, you have either 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, or 4 hours, or 3 hours rather. And I worked 3 hours and 51 minutes. So if it's above, in the case of time, right, if it's above 30, like if it's 30, right, if it's 30 or greater, if it's greater than that time, then you round up. And if it's 29 or less, 29 or less, you round down, right? So it's less than 29. Oh, I did these things wrong. Oops. It's greater than 30, you round up. If it's less than 29, you round down, right? So that is how you do it there. And so this one, because it's 351, we're going to round it up here. And that means that we will be at 4 hours. And then all we have to do is figure out, okay, if I worked 4 hours and I get $5 an hour, that would be $5, $5, $5, $5 for every hour, or better yet, 5 times the 4 hours, because it's 5 for every hour, and that equals $20. So there you have that way of figuring it out. So if you need to work that out, that is how you do it. And then just for a final little thing, sorry about my little goof up with the bigger, greater, and lesser. So here we just want to see if, just to remember that a week has 7 days, right? A month, right, generally has 4 weeks. That's kind of what we average it out to. 4 weeks is basically what a month has. And so, if you want to compare these different things, so you'll have to do it. So if you wanted to see a month, you would just do 7 times 4, and then the average month is going to be 28 days, right? That's like the rounded month is 28 days. And then, if you wanted to see, say, if 36 weeks was bigger than 4 months, what you could do is you just make sure that you times this 4 by 4, right? Because each month has 4 weeks in it, and 4 by 4 is 16 weeks. So we would know that 36 weeks is greater than 4 months. Anyway, so this was just supposed to be a short lesson, just so you could figure out what you needed to know there. And I hope that helps today. I'm going to send a little review sheet home with you, and just for you guys to work on a little bit. Anyways, bye for now. Cheers. Our next problem is going to be kind of a unique problem. And this is just going to be mostly focusing on our ability to convert between different units. So we're trying to compare a Toyota car that goes at 80 kilometers in 1 hour. That is a mess of an N. All right, 80 kilometers in 1 hour versus a Gazelle that runs 35 meters in 1 second. That's sort of a ridiculous speed, but we're just gonna fly with it. So let's go here. So if a Toyota car is 80 kilometers an hour, and we're trying to compare this, let's turn the 80 kilometers into meters, right? Because that would help us out a lot. So if we have 80K or kilometers, and we want to turn that into meters, right? And the reason we want to do that is because we want to compare them, like as in apples to apples. So what we have to do is we go times this by 1,000, right? Because there's 1,000 meters for every 1 kilometer. So if we have 80, we'll times it by 1,000 to get our answer. So that equals 80,000. And then, you should pause, actually. Sorry, I forgot to tell you to pause. So pause and try and work out this question by yourself. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get it all in the same thing. So if you don't really have an idea of how to do this, just watch the video. This is a harder question, but it's just to try and work your brain into figuring out how to convert these different units so they're all in the same units and in the same amount of time. So it's going to be 2 different things all at once. So pause here, try and do it, and then we'll reconvene. Okay, so hopefully you paused if you could. If not, we'll just carry on. So this is how many meters we'd have. So that's still in 1 hour. So how many would it be in 1 minute? So what would we have to do? Well, we'd have to do divide by 60, right? Because 1 hour is made up of 60 minutes. So we'd have to figure out what this would be if we just had 1/60th of the parts. So what we want to do is just divide this, and I'm just going to erase that. We're going to divide this by 60, right? So let's do this. So 60 can go into 80 one time, right? And then we can't go into 8, obviously, so we go into 80. We can go in one time, and then it'll be 60. And we will just take a look here, and it'll be easy enough to do. So 80 minus 60 is going to be 20, and then we have to drop a 0, right? We drop a 0, and now we have 200. How many times can 80 or 60 go into 200? Well, 3 times, right? We should put that over, make sure it's over the right number. 3 times, because that'll make 180. 4 times would make 240, and that's too much if we remember. So that's too much, so we have to do this. And this will give us, again, 20. So then we drop another 0. It'll be 200. It goes in 3 times. That's 180 again, which will give us 20. And then we'll drop our last 0, which will be, another this. And now we've run out of space. But it'll be, again, minus 180. And that will be another 3. And then we'll be left with 20, and we can't drop anything down anymore, so we have a remainder of 20. And we could keep going, and it would be 0.333 for a long time. So this is how many meters the car moves in 1 minute, right? So it moves 1,333 meters in 1 minute. So we've got this one up to scratch. So this is for the car. Now, what we want to do is kind of erase a lot of this quickly, just so that we can do our next bit of math. Right, so this is for the car. So now we want to figure out the gazelle. Well, the gazelle's running 35 meters in a second. So what we want to do with 35 meters time in a second is versus a we want to get that second into minutes, right? Because we're doing in 1 minute. So we want to figure out how many how fast this can go in a second. Now we could divide this again by 60 to figure out how far it goes in a second. But we'll do this one this time and just convert it. So because we can times this, and timesing is generally easier. So what we'll do is try and get it into a minute, which would be 35 times 60, right? Because that's how, there'll be 60 seconds in 1 minute. So we could just stack these up, right? 35 times 60. And here we go, 0 with the 5, right? It's going to be kind of awkward, but 0 times the 3 is 0. And then we have 6 times 5. But remember, when we're on the second digit, we put a 0 to start, right? 6 times 5 is going to be, right, 30. So we actually put another 0 here, and we put the 3 over here. 6 times 3 is 18, plus the 3 is 21, and so we'll just put the 21 here, and this is how fast it goes in a minute, right? So the gazelle runs 2,100 in minute. So it's going faster in a minute than the car. So yeah, that's kind of cool. So this is in a minute, and we've kind of figured it out. But that's just that's a pretty hard question. If you don't get that, that's fine. Don't get freaked out about it. That is just a bit of extra stuff to figure out how to convert numbers.